out here. It's so good.
All right.
Audition released their universal update, so it's so much faster.
Oh, cool.
Now. So
That's the
much
one. That's the
faster.
last holdout, Adobe holdout for you, right?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, they still haven't updated Illustrator or.
No, I mean it's the last Adobe product you're using.
Yeah, it's the last one I'm hanging on to. I'm paying for $20 a month for that thing. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Well, just think for another $60, you could have them all, Scott.
Yeah. Barely use most of them and only use 2 of them. And I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. They're awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm going to take all my PSDs, no problem. Export to that if I need to. It's all good in the hood.
Cool.
All right. Sorry. Got a lot of shit on my table and it's making my keyboard slip. There we go. All righty then. Here comes.
Need some knobs on the bottom of your keyboard. Some knobs, Scott.
Yep.
It's a problem.
Knobs. Always the problem. Lack of knobs. Here comes the show, everyone. Thanks for being here and enjoy in 3, 2, 1.
Yes, I'll try talking with them, but it's risky business. If they think you're avoiding responsibility, the whole thing could blow up in your face, right? I can't believe that there's a mole in the executive council.
Even if there is a mole.
That's not what's important here.
What?
This is the morning stream. Behave yourselves.
Fat chance of that. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is TMS, the morning stream for Thursday, May 13th, 2021. I am Scott Johnson. He is Brian Ibbett.
I am indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming up on our left. He's up on our left. On our left.
Your left. On your left.
Pre-show, we had a whole. Hey, you should be a patron, everybody, because in pre-show we talked about Brian almost running over some kid who had his earbuds in a little too tight, and it was pretty funny. What I liked about it, Brian, is you laughed through the whole thing. You kept your sense of humor, and
I mean, what can you do? I mean, the dude irritated me, but I'm certainly not going to get bent out of shape about it.
No. I mean, look, he's a kid. He's got a whole life ahead of him of learning. Hopefully, if he doesn't get run over,
I can't tell you that it would have been satisfying to just gently push him over as I rode by.
Yeah, you would have been gentle about it. You said on our text this morning you should have tapped him. That would have been good.
I should have just tapped him on the shoulder. Yeah. My worry about that is that he would have flailed and, a bike skateboarder crash collision is not what either of us needed.
No, that's like a court thing. You don't want to mess with that.
Yes, exactly.
You'll be tied up for years in that business. So yeah, avoid that with all costs. But anyway, I'm glad that camera's working. I guess the stream got lost, and nobody saw that happen live. But
nobody saw it happen live. Yeah. So the GoPro deal is what kind of a deal? It's the GoPro deal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it'll hook up to your phone so you can live stream, right?
Yeah.
And I can stream via Twitch. At that point, I was trying it via Facebook because Twitch crapped out after like 2 minutes.
Oh.
2 problems with that. Number one, it uses your phone's cell service to stream, which obviously makes sense. It has to, right?
Sure.
It's not like there's any sort of Wi-Fi or anything.
Right.
So if you go through an area where AT&T coverage isn't so good, boom, your stream just goes down, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
The other problem with that is that there's no way, and you shouldn't be while you're on a bike or anything looking at comments, but there's no way to interact with your audience. So basically it's like, yeah, I'm live streaming. It's a very one-sided thing. I'm just live streaming out to the world, and somebody can't say, oh, that looks cool. Is that, where's that park? Or that looks like a beautiful playground. How do you get to that? That sort of thing, right? It's
Sure.
It's just
well, and
so
also,
there needs to be some.
Well, I don't know how you do it though. How would you interact? I guess you'd need some kind of.
I'd need a co-host or something, right? Like somebody.
Oh yeah.
Somebody saying, Phil from Kalamazoo wants to know how do you get to those? How do you get to that park?
Yeah, we got any listeners in Kalamazoo? Shout out to Kalamazoo.
Just shout out, Fred.
Yeah, but it's interesting though. Just this idea of like, I don't know, a high-speed sort of track race idea, marathon thing, where you're showing everybody what you're doing the whole time. It's still interesting,
Yeah.
you know?
It is interesting, and I do want to figure out a way to do something for the big ride at the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
Two big things have to happen. Number one, I need some sort of constant on. Like I do have a what was this thing called? It's like a little flat puck, but it's a constant cell connection little Wi-Fi hotspot, right? So I could have that on in my backpack, and it's basically Wi-Fi. But
is that Fios thing from what's their names?
It's
no,
it's something like that. It's something. It's a something Go, and I can't remember what the name of it is.
Okay,
but it's but then I'd be paying who knows how much for gigabytes of data to do that.
Yeah.
Which I'm all right doing. The other problem is the battery life on the GoPro. It petered out after a full charge. It petered out through my 1 hour ride that I did yesterday.
Oh, wow. That's lower than I would have thought. I don't know why I thought they had higher battery life than that, but an hour of use.
It could be just the fact that this is a used one that we got from a pawn shop. So I need to, and I've ordered some replacement batteries.
Is there any Hunter Biden porn on that camera?
I don't know. TVZ Gon was nice enough to clear off the memory card before he sent it to me, so it was completely wiped out.
Only he will know if there are any prostitute-y Hunter Biden moments.
Right. I know there could have been something great and incriminating on there, like I don't know, a couple prostitutes peeing on a guy in a hotel room with orange hair. I don't know. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, for sure. That one GoPro will be the one.
That'd be the one that was used. In that case, Purell the crap out of that thing.
Sure.
But anyway, so so it's going to be a combination of figuring out batteries and figuring out some sort of constant cell connection Wi-Fi hotspot.
You would be a sensation on the internet if you figured out a way to change batteries with your knees without stopping.
Well, yeah. The problem with that is that it. The GoPro will stop, during that time that I'm changing batteries anyway, so I might as well pull over. The ride I'm doing at the end of June there are pit stops like every 10 or so miles.
Right.
And at the rate I go, I'm going about 12 miles an hour, 13 miles an hour in some spots. So if I time things right, when I get to a stop, I can take a battery out of the charger, put it into the GoPro, take the battery out of the GoPro, put it into the charger, which is hooked up to a battery pack in my backpack.
Got it.
And it'll constantly have one charging, one ready, and
while you're enjoying a Nilla wafer with banana and peanut butter on it.
You've got it. Yeah, those Nilla Nutters.
That sounds so good.
So damn good.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to eat the cookie part, but I'd make an exception for one. I'd eat one.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they make sugar-free vanilla wafers, but I know you can get
sounds terrible.
Low sugar peanut butter, and you could do that.
This place locally, I forgot the name. We just went there again yesterday because I'm hooked on these shakes they make. They use almond, not almond milk. No, I guess it is almond. No, it's almond butter.
Okay.
Oat milk and banana. And then and just a couple of dates, like Indy bad dates, dates, fruit, and it's fantastic. Oh my gosh, it tastes like the best shake ever, and it's like got no unnatural sugar, and the only sugar is out of these dates, and it's not considered like the kind of sugar I can't eat. So I can do one of these shakes, and it feels like I'm cheating, but I'm not. It's so good. Oh my gosh. It's freaking fantastic. Yeah, I forgot the name of the place.
So good.
I'd give him a shout out, but it's the place I told you about where the unmasked a-hole was in there demanding his money back and then keeping the food.
Oh yeah, the Feel Like a Man.
Yeah.
Feel Like a Man.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the thing, but and it's not the cheapest shake. I think it's like $6 for a 16 ounce. It's a little high price, but
still, it sounds like it's
really
worth it.
good, man.
Like a smoothie.
Yeah, I might have to get another one today. We'll see. They have a whole line there of things they call nice cream.
Okay, is it? Oh yeah, it's rice based, right? My vegan buddy used to eat this, or no, it was ice cream that was called Nice Dream.
Oh,
no, is that right, or am I thinking of the Cheech and Chong movie?
Maybe
it wasn't ice cream.
Was there one called
Wasn't there a Cheech and Chong movie that's called Nice Dreams? I mean, it was ice cream, but they crossed off the N.
Dreams.
Or crossed off the R.
You know what? You're right. 1981. Yeah, there is. How did I never hear of this movie? It's called Nice Dreams. You're right about the thing they crossed out, or they wrote the N and the DR, or the D is on top of the C.
It's on top of the C, right? Exactly.
Tommy Chong directed it, written by Tommy Chong and Cheech Marin.
I'm guessing. I think there was some pot involved in that movie.
It might have been.
Coming to a film sack near you. How come we've never done a Cheech and Chong
I don't know.
movie
We
for
probably
film
should
sack?
just to get one out of the way. You know, Sandra
Get out of the
Bernhardt's
way.
in
You
that.
act like it's a root canal. Are you kidding? This is like a.
I know, but it's supposed to be comedy, and we kind of avoid those. You know.
Oh, right.
So I don't know, but it might work because of the cultural significance of the Cheech and Chong era. I think maybe that would be a good thing to do. But we'd have to find out what is the one that everyone thinks is like the be all end all of Cheech
Up
and Chong.
in Smoke, right? It has to be.
Is it? Let's see.
I mean, there's Cheech and Chong's the next movie. There's the Corsican Brothers. There's Still Smoking. But I think Up in Smoke is the one you kind of have to do. None of those are streaming, by the way, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I can't. He hasn't acted in anything since. Oh, that's not true. They're doing a TV movie of Nash Bridges, him and Don Johnson getting back together.
Really?
That'll be great.
So we've been watching the Keenan show.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing really good things about it.
Yeah.
I heard really good things about it.
Yeah. Not doing it for you?
It's not doing it for us. Like we watch, Tina and her Blackish. Want to watch an episode of Blackish?
Yeah.
By the way, 100% accurate.
Yeah, no, I assume so.
Of Tina.
Yeah, I assume so. It's Keenan.
We laugh more at Blackish than we do at Keenan. Keenan just hasn't figured out it's got a great ensemble cast, right? Don Johnson, Chris Redd from Saturday Night Live, of course, Kenan Thompson, that blonde lady who you've seen in everything, and I can't think of her name.
I have the list right here.
She's.
Let's see. Not Taylor Louderman.
I don't know. Could be.
Vanessa Williams, isn't that weird?
Oh, Vanessa Williams.
Maria Bamford. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not Maria Bamford. I know who Maria Bamford is.
Oh, she's in it.
Yeah.
I can't find any other blonde people in this list.
I think it might be. Let's see here. Where is it?
Is this a 3-camera?
Taylor Louderman. Oh, Fortune Femister.
Oh.
Feimster. Fortune Feimster.
Okay. Is that a real name? Sweet. That's a cool name. So is this one of those? It's like a 3-camera laugh tracky thing, right?
It's a 3-camera, no laugh track.
No laugh track. Okay.
No laugh track.
All right.
So,
but it feels like it's on a set like Seinfeld, just no laugh track.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, exactly. There's their house set. There's the or Feemster. Thank you, Dan Wally. Then there's he's a host of a morning show.
And it's just there's no live audience or any of that. It's just jokes and then no laughter, no
laugh track, no in studio audience, none of that stuff.
All right.
It's kind of like your Modern Family or Goldbergs or things like that.
The IMDb rating's pretty low, 5.5 out of 10. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, but Paste Magazine said the funniest new show of 2020 that you're not watching is Kenan. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And
right.
No, it's not.
It's not doing it for you.
It's not. We said, okay, well, I kind of want to watch the new Ted Danson thing.
Yeah.
But let's watch Kenan because it's getting really good reviews from Paste, but apparently not on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes.
Ted Danson's it's that new where he's a elected rich guy or something.
Yeah, elected rich guy.
Is that what it is? Oh, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, and he was like some
Mayor.
Big business guy, and then he ran for mayor, and now he doesn't know what he's doing. We saw part of that, and it made me laugh. But it feels like Veep. It's
a
Veep
Tina
Jr.
Fey thing.
Yeah, but it's like it's like Veep Jr. in that show.
Sounds good to me. Although, yeah, right, because it has to be on regular network.
Well, that, and also it just felt like they were lifting right from Veep. Like,
oh, really?
yeah.
Okay,
it's
all right.
fine. I'm not, not a bad thing necessarily, but it's definitely one of those shows. Holly Hunter's good in it. She looks like a raisin these days, but I like her. I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Like a nice raisin.
Yeah, nice
Yes.
raisin. I love a nice raisin. Plump, nice raisin. Juicy.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good fiber for you. All that.
That could be it.
Should go right through you.
All right, so
Anyway.
maybe we'll give Mr. Mayor a chance, but I've got other things that I'm watching right now that I'm enjoying a lot more.
Here's a quick question for you.
Yes.
Do you have a thing that drives Tina crazy? And I'll share with you the one that makes my wife want to literally
absolutely.
punch me. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
it's when we get out of. I may have talked about this before. Oh, look who has arrived. She's going to hear me tell you about this. Hi, hon. Did you put cinnamon in it? Oh, that's too bad. Anyway, that might annoy her as well.
Take it back. Put some cinnamon in it. Bring it back.
So she yesterday we're at that place. I got the shake I was telling you about. What's that place called?
Yeah.
Aubergine. That's the name of the place.
Aubergine.
Thank
somebody
you.
did say that in the chat room, and I thought they were joking. 'Cause
Oh, you
that's
thought they were making it up? Yeah,
That's an eggplant.
It's kind of a bad name, and there is
It is.
a big eggplant next to the name, but it looks like the penis emoji.
the emoji for penis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of annoying. But anyway, we're there, and this is I think this might be the one thing in our entire how we've been married for 28 years, almost 29. And the thing that annoys her the most is when she gets out of the car, if she's driving, she'll get out her side, and before I get out, I reach over. She's already pulled the emergency brake up, but I'll go click, click, just a couple more clicks. One at the least.
Oh, right, like
Just
because
a
you don't
couple.
think it's emergency braked enough.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it is, but I just do it out of habit, and I know that I'm annoying her, but a little bit of spite. So I'll just go click, click, and then I'll get out of the car. She gets so pissed at me, so mad.
Really?
Her southern accent comes out. She gets all fired up.
Okay, ask her right now because she's in the room.
I'm asking
You
you.
said something that is probably the only thing out of 29 years that annoys her.
Okay.
Say, Kim, is this the only thing that annoys you that I do?
Is it? Hell no.
I was going to say, because I know I can come up with about 12 things that drive Tina crazy. One of them is that, are we going to watch an episode of Blackish?
What's even better is when you're empty nesters, your kids aren't there, and you're doing that kind of stuff to your significant other is the best. It's so great.
It is the best. Yeah, because, right, I can't do it to Tristan
What do I
anymore. I
say?
can't.
Because he doesn't understand. I don't understand why you're so bugged.
I don't get why you're so bugged.
Because I've asked you not to.
Yeah, but then I do it because it's funny to get your reaction. Except when you hit me in the arm, spousal abuse over here. But yeah. Anyway, all right. So Brian,
You just smile.
Yeah.
thank you for this. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. So Brian,
Next time, put cinnamon in it.
yeah, cinnamon in here. Damn it. I like cinnamon in my tea. So what's your
I'm sending it back.
What's the thing if it's not the Blackish thing? What is it?
If
that
it's
you
not
just-
the if it's not the imitation voice, it's this I know drives her absolutely nuts because she's told me it drives her nuts. But if I'm having a bowl of Greek yogurt, right, like some fruit or some oatmeal in there or whatever, you get to the bottom of the bowl, and inside the bowl there's still like remnants of the yogurt
Yep.
all around the inside of the bowl,
Yep,
right?
You're right.
And so I'll go ding 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 ding, like with the spoon, and I'm gonna try and like basically I'm really quickly using the spoon to sweep up all the leftover Greek yogurt
Yeah.
into the one side,
That's great.
so I could scoop it up with the with the spoon and enjoy that last bite of Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and it's all part of this is the rapidity of how quickly you're hitting the bowl, right? That's part of what
It's
bugs
got
me.
to be it. Yeah, I don't know
like,
what.
just like-
It's got to be, right? I mean,
that.
if I did it, I try and do it slowly and not make the noise, and it doesn't seem to bother her. But I think it's the sound or the feeling of metal scraping against porcelain.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, my wife hates that sound too. That must be a wife sound hate thing. I don't know. Doesn't bug me when I'm doing
Claire,
it.
I saw you write that the first time, and I chose not to respond to it, and I choose not to respond to it this time too.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'd probably just ignore that one. That's a
But the trick is to end with you end with a twist.
twist. I've seen Seinfeld. I know what's up.
And with a twist.
That episode that episode was on last night. That's too funny. You bring that
Oh,
up.
was it really?
Yeah.
Funny.
Well, I mean, they're on in whatever order I want them on, but it happened to be playing yesterday, so there you go.
Yeah, what else? God, it would be great if I could have Tina come down here. She's working, though. That I could have her come down here and tell you some of the things that.
Oh, you know she's got a list. It may not be long, but she's got some kind of list, right?
She's got to have a list. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guarantee it. I broke the toilet seat today, so that's probably on Kim's list.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, we have the bidet deal, and it's this crappy. The bidet part's great, but the seat they send with it sucks.
It's a piece of. It's like it's junk.
It's
it is
junk.
like.
Yes, it's the worst.
Yeah.
And you sit on it enough times, it's gonna freaking break. It sucks anyway. But I kind of slammed it a little hard on the lid today, and now the mechanism that made it go and slowly drop down,
the slow.
That doesn't work anymore. So now what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna forget that that's true. And I'm going to pull on. I'm going to tap on it. It's going to go wham. We're going to have to get another one. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Hey, I know what I'm in the mood for. How about some science?
Science is cool, I hear.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should have the guy say it.
Yeah, we should have that guy do it. But we can't do that until we get this. Well, why? Okay, there.
I think science is cool.
I do too. Science is really. That sounds like Bob Odenkirk now that I hear it. Doesn't it a little bit?
I think
science is cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, now let me out of this trunk. Where's a fire extinguisher?
Oh, that was I right about the bomb at the end? It was great, right? That final thing. Oh,
yes,
so good.
the yes.
Yeah, a fine way to get rid of your villain is what I'm saying. Speaking of villains, not really. It's Bobby Frankenberger joining us as he does on Thursdays. Bobby is the host, of course, of All Around Science, and he's here, and I love having him here. Bobby, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, man. I want to grow my hair as long as yours, but I don't like my chances. I'm trying. Okay.
I'm learning all sorts of weird things about like how to take care of hair. It feels weird to research like hair care products as someone who grew up as a male in the South, I guess, where you're constantly being told to be a man.
Yeah.
And now I'm like learning about like paraben-free hair care products with no sulfates and.
I think that's awesome. I love that. You've got basically my son's hair. Nick's hair is as long as yours is right now, and he's in no mood to cut it. And I decided that if I'm ever going to do this just one more time, it's going to be now. And right now, it's all kind of slicked back and stuff because I have to. But in the morning, I look like I don't know that guy. What was who was the guy with the crazy hair from Australia in the 80s? They had a couple of movies.
Oh, Yahoo Serious?
Yahoo Serious hair I had this morning. And but it's also still this weird like half stage, so I'm not full blown, having it hang and do its thing. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm making a mistake
I'm
here.
excited about it. I want to do all sorts of crazy things with it before I cut it again, like dye it weird colors. And I had a dream the other day that I just shaved the sides off and then
Whoa.
I don't know.
Picture that.
My hair is taking over my life.
We'll talk about the science behind that move. That's pretty good. Well, hey, speaking of science, we have Bobby on Thursdays, most Thursdays. There's only one exception when a really weird Australian lady's here taking up a seat.
Speaking of Australia,
from Kentucky shows up.
Oh, right, Kentucky. I forgot. So anyway, we have him come on. We talk about a little science thing. The big thing going around lately, and I didn't realize it had been quote unquote resolved. But it has been. But there was all this freak out and a little bit of scare, but mostly people just going weird with this Chinese rocket that had no landing plans. It was basically just like, all right, it's going to land wherever it's going to land. Good luck, everybody. You have a 1.7 billion chance of being hit by this thing, which seems like pretty good odds, or pretty bad odds for the rocket, good odds for you. And
well, the rocket had a 100% chance of hitting something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it did. But also a high percentage chance of hitting water because most of this planet is water, and it is round, by the way. So all you people who don't agree with me can leave now. It is round. It's a round planet.
Well, I think flat earthers also agree that most of the flat Earth is water.
That's a good point. They do. Right up to the ice wall, and then that's where things get weird.
That's right.
So anyway, sorry, my wife's back. Is there something important? Oh, Freddie sent us our things. Awesome. Thank you for providing your feedback. We look forward to serving you. And then written in handwriting. And then Brian, I got 2. Let's see. Oh, I got free. These are free combo meals.
Combos.
I know.
Sneeze. It was so exciting. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, that's great. All right. Always complain is the lesson. All right. Anyway, so anyway, this thing was going to hit the water, and then I guess it did. Like it's full on did. It did, and I felt like the news dropped the ball a little bit because up to this point they're like, no one knows where the Chinese rocket. And then when it finally hit the water, no one talked about it. Like it took.
Well, that's not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, if it were going to hit a metropolitan area, then it would be on the news. But
yeah,
they didn't drop the ball as much as they took a very soft, non-dangerous ball and shoved it in your face and told you that there might be like spikes all over it and you should be scared of it.
Yeah,
sure.
So the deal with the rocket was they're currently building a space station, and this was the first sort of stage or section of the space station that they're building, and they had to launch it up. I mean, you have to get it into space with a rocket. And so that's what they did. They sent up a rocket. It was called the Long March 5B, was the rocket that they used. And they sent up the section of the space station that's going to stay in orbit. They put it up there, and then the rocket came back to Earth. It was a 23-ton rocket booster that fell down, and that by itself sounds pretty normal because that's how we do things. That's business as usual with getting things into space. But the reason that everybody's up in arms about it is because they didn't have what you would call like a targeted reentry or a controlled descent plan. They didn't have a plan for how to get it somehow deliberately, safely back to Earth.
Right. So how do I put this? Does China acknowledge that they were like, yeah, we didn't really have a back end deal going here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they said that they don't. They kind of, it feels like they're kind of just like, like shrugging a little bit and looking around and like what's the big deal, guys?
Mm.
And it's a little complicated. Like, so it makes sense that you would want to minimize the risk that a rocket is going to have to come down and do damage, land on your house or a city or something like that, right?
right.
But on the other hand, and this is China's point, on the other hand, it's very unlikely that that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Because
it still seems like you
said,
should have some kind of, even like a half plan.
Sure.
Sure,
yeah. So so you may have heard, this was a big thing. One of the reasons it got really into the news was the current NASA administrator, Bill Nelson. He publicly made a statement criticizing China because of their failure to minimize risk and also their lack of transparency. He put in there, like, they're just not very transparent about their space operations and whatnot. But his point, and in his statement, he said that, quote, it's clear that China's failing to meet responsible standards regarding its space debris. And his point is that, so what NASA does is, so anybody who launches something into space, there's very little chance that it's going to come down and hit someone or something important, or even hit land. Like 70% of the Earth is covered in water. So chances are that's where it's going to go. So usually that's where space debris goes, is in the water.
Sure.
But NASA, what they do is they have a plan to further sort of hedge their bets that it's going to land somewhere safe. What they'll do, for example, is they'll launch it and the booster stage of the rocket doesn't actually go up into orbit with the rocket. It falls off. And they have a plan for like when it's going to fall off, where it's going to fall off, and how it's going to land. And then when something comes back in and deorbits, often they'll have either descent rockets like SpaceX, for example. When they're doing things, they have a whole thing about how they're going to land their rockets again. So that's a little bit different. But the point is that China didn't have any plans like this.
Right.
They just said, we're just going to launch it up there and it'll come down and it probably won't hit anything and everybody will be okay.
And
this
probably
time they
won't
were
hit
right.
anything. I mean, that's the most like, I don't know. Like, look, part of me is like, yeah, statistically they're right. But statistically, I'm not going to go hit anybody on my way to the 7-Eleven.
Right.
Doesn't mean I shouldn't have a plan for, minimizing said, risk to people as I'm driving there.
Right. You don't wear a blindfold while you're driving.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, 20 tons also, that's a lot of weight coming fast from space.
Most of it burnt up in the atmosphere. So we do know where it landed, just by the way, if you haven't seen this in the news. It landed in the Indian Ocean somewhere around the Maldives, which is like some islands off the southern coast of India.
Oh, Indian Ocean. Okay.
Yeah, and so it didn't hit anybody. It didn't hit land, I don't even think. There's no reported reports that it hit land. The islands are very, very small over there, but it could have, right? And here's the thing. Stuff has come down from space and hit things before. So it's not like it's never happened. It's just we want to the question is, what is China doing to minimize the odds that that's going to happen?
Yeah, or anybody
Some
for that
sort
matter.
of controlled descent to say, let's make, all right, it's really close to the coast. Let's deploy a parachute that's going to, confirm or make sure that it's going to go into the water.
Sure.
Did anybody else remember Skylab?
Yes.
Yeah, so Skylab did come down, and it did hit land in and around a city or a town in Australia, I think it was.
Right, yeah.
And nobody got hurt, but pieces of debris hit buildings there. And I mean, to give you a sense of the level of international concern there was, I think they jokingly issued the U.S. a littering fine.
Oh, heady days, the 70s, right? Boy, these days it would have been who knows what would have happened.
Well, I assume, here's my assumption, that there's not a giant stink made about it then because due diligence was done, and still, after all you can do, and after any, whatever comprehensive plan you have, still things are going to get through. Isn't that the main issue? The issue isn't that this stuff can't happen. It's that...
Well, to me, the real main issue, the thing that this... Because if we really think about it, China's right. And it's frustrating to admit that China's right about something like this, but China's right. Nothing was probably going to happen. But the problem is that this highlights to me is that there is no international law or treaty that somehow involves responsibility that nations should have for things that they put up there. Now, there is international law dictating who will be responsible if damage is done. That's the 1972 Liability Convention was established, and it's what you would think it is. It's if a country has a piece of space junk land on them and cause damage, then damages can be sought by that country from the launching country.
So let's say here's the example. I'm down in let's say I'm in St. George. I'm on vacation. I'm hanging out with Kim, and suddenly a 20-ton freaking rocket booster lands on the cafe I'm in, killing everybody there except me, because I'm special. And
you're in
it's just
no, you cannot get the launching country to pay for your meal. If that's
no, but I guess what I'm saying is when you're talking about catastrophic damage like that, what would China's obligation be? Or any country. China's just in this story, but if this was anybody, what would their obligation be? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Would they?
Yeah. Well, it would be incumbent on the nation state that received the damage to seek damages from the. So it's a country to country issue, is what I'm saying. If you got hit by a small piece of space debris and it hit you in the head, you could not go to China and say, pay for my hospital visit.
We can't just simply go on this show. With plaintiff.
You can't take him to the people's
Meet
court.
our litigants. Scott was eating at a diner with his wife when a huge 20-ton chunk of space debris
Who will the judge
Smashed
find
his
for?
almond shake.
Come after this commercial and find out how our judge rules. Well,
Litigants
anyway,
are real.
It is fascinating. I guess on the tail end of this, now that everything's done and the things crashed and no one got hurt and all that, any sort of pressure internationally to like come up with standards like this and then adhere to them, or is it just gonna
I don't know that there's serious pressure. I think there should be. If you want to know my opinion, I really think that now is the time. Now is probably past the time to come up with a way to obligate countries who are going to send things into space. We need to have a way that a set of standards that countries need to follow. Right, already somewhere between 200 and 400 pieces of space junk fall out of space every year. I mean, literally, like on average, something falls from orbit every day.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stuff.
Trash up there. I've seen Gravity. There's
I
just a
saw
ton of
Gravity.
garbage up there.
Yeah, that documentary was really good. That showed us exactly how things.
Yeah, the
are up in
documentary
space.
Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, Wall-E, that was another great
Wall-E, yes, that other documentary.
another documentary of space junk.
But but there are serious cases of so we talked about Skylab, nobody got hurt there, but in 1978 there was a Soviet spy satellite that came down in Canada's Northwest Territories, and it had a nuclear reactor on it, and it caused spread radioactive debris over like several hundred square miles over Canada. And it's not like it just happened to land in the wilderness. It did do damage to the natural area around there, but it could have just as easily landed in like Toronto or something.
Right.
You know?
That's gnarly. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was
That's crazy.
Reactor on that.
Any
thing?
superheroes come from that, by the way?
None that we've heard of yet.
Okay, all right.
Canadian superheroes. They're only.
It's Alpha Flight.
It's Alpha Flight. That's it. That's all you
Yeah,
got.
that's it. You get Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
There was a talking moose and squirrel, though. I think that might have been related.
Were they Canadian? Oh, I guess they were because the Mountie
Were,
guy was
yeah,
in
sure.
that. And,
Hey, Lucky. Yes, Wolverine, Deadpool, sure. You can count those guys. No
right.
one's ever heard of either of those characters, though.
Right, they're small.
Not like Puck and Sasquatch and Shaman and Snowbird and North Star and Aurora and Guardian and Vindicator.
Yeah, they're bits in the zombie. What was it, Marvel Zombies or something like that, where it was one of these one-off 6-issue things. I really liked how they used the Alpha Flight people in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they go, I'm going to eat your brains. Sorry, excuse me, I'm going to eat your brains. Got any gravy?
I can't remember what it was. Well, one of them's a big furry guy. Oh, it was the Hulk.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. It was the Immortal Hulk stuff. They had a really good crossover in there.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. And normally I don't even think about that team, but there they were. Anyway, hey, this is good stuff. As always, you can find more great commentary about the world of science and more over there on All Around Science. Bobby, why don't you tell people where they can get it and anything else you'd like to say?
Yep, the podcast is called All Around Science. Just search for it. You'll find it. We've got a website, allaroundscience.com. We're doing episodes come out every Monday, and we just did one on the one that just came out. Had to do with all sorts of crazy stuff like invisible lightning that might be able to clean up the atmosphere that scientists just discovered.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Invisible lightning is my
Doesn't
favorite
sound like
Canadian
something that could
superhero.
possibly go wrong.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Right. It might have been shot by some of those superheroes that were created in Canada.
Yeah.
That's right.
Very nice.
Yeah, check it out. All Around Science. And every week, science stuff.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you, Bobby Frankenberger. Have a fantastic week with your glorious hair.
Tim Horton got the superpower of invisible lightning.
In the daytime, he's Tim Horton. At night, he's Invisible Lightning.
He's Tim Bits.
Tim Bits. He's got the best coffee, and he'll save you from a fire.
Good.
All right. Well done, everybody. It's time now for some news.
This is the info we've been waiting for.
Today's news brought to you by
Brought to you by Coverville today, a triple cover story for 3 people who celebrated their 75th birthday on May 10th, just 3 days ago. These guys all turned 75. These guys were all born on the same day. Donovan, who you know from songs like Sunshine Superman and Mellow Yellow. No, not the drink. Also, Dave Mason, who is who's probably best known for a song called We Just Disagree, but actually is involved in so many great songs behind the scenes as a songwriter. Same with Graham Goldman, who's also celebrating 75 years. He was a member of 10cc, the band 10cc, Things We Do for Love, I'm Not in Love, Dreadlock Holiday. But he wrote so many songs for Herman's Hermits and the Hollies and the Yardbirds. You're going to hear covers of all of those. It's a big show. Big show. 4 sets. And it's all coming up today at 1 p.m. Mountain Time at twitch.tv/Coverville. You can also go to coverville.tv because I bought that domain and I've forwarded it to the place you need to go.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works great. I'm of the opinion that Yardbirds is one of the greatest band names in the history of bands. I love that
The
name.
Yardbirds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. If they wouldn't have appropriated it for a band name, it sounds like it could have been a slur.
Yeah.
Like some sort of slur. Like,
Dirty
oh,
Yardbird.
Ethel, those Yardbirds are out in the back again with their loud music and their smelly barbecue.
Dirty Yardbirds. Their
Dirty
music.
Yardbirds.
Yeah, I like that. All right, a couple of quick stories here before we break. This one, for example, New Zealand man and meeting faces legal action for painting penises around potholes. Yeah, look at all those P's in there. A lot of P's.
Penises, potholes, and penises.
Yeah,
Painted.
it's a great new Netflix show. Check it out. Let's see. New Zealand man's penile art could have him facing penal action. Oh, that's funny.
That's really funny.
Well done,
Yes.
CBC.ca. Jeff Upson. Oh, you know what I was going to start doing? I was going to start using this Canadian clip whenever we do a Canadian story. Hold on. Let me find this. This is great show content.
Okay.
There it is. I found it. Okay, so from now on we play this.
Canada!
All right, we're talking about Canada today. Okay, everybody. Anyway,
Sure.
Jeff, I guess. Upson. Not to be compared to Jeff Epstein. Jeff Upson has been drawing very large, colorful penises around potholes in his home city of Auckland since 2018 to draw attention to the problem he says authorities are not taking very seriously. Now, Auckland Transport has taken legal action against the road safety campaigner following a complaint over his artwork. He says he's given a formal statement to the police and faces a fine or possible community service. I'm remaining optimistic that Auckland Transport will just fix the road. I can't do a sustained New Zealand accent. It's not in.
No, I know. Band meeting? Yeah,
Band meeting is as far as
you
I
know,
go.
my New Zealand accent devolves into Australian pretty darn quickly.
Yeah,
So.
which they all hate there. Nobody wants to be. No one in New Zealand wants to sound like an Australian, and nobody in Australia wants to sound like a freaking Kiwi. You guys and your weird rivalry. I don't get it. Anyway. It says here, graffiti charges were laid against him on Friday. The case is now in the hands of police. Quote, as we head into the Road Safety Week next week, Auckland Transport is actually looking forward to working positively with Mr. Upson. His name isn't Downson after all.
It's Upson Abbey.
Yeah, that's right. Auckland Transport spokesman.
Geoff Upson.
Geoff Upson. Though we may not agree with the way he drew attention to the potholes, Auckland Transport and Mr. Upson have the same ultimate goal, road safety awareness. Well, actually, I think Upson's goal is fix the damn potholes. I don't think it's awareness. I think it's maybe fix it is what he's trying to say.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick and fix this pothole.
Yeah,
is
fix
what
this
he's trying to
pothole.
say with those paintings.
Exactly. You guys should see some of these here, Chad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to look at them too.
They're it's rudimentary, but
They're huge.
yeah, his big old wiener. And there he
Wow.
is with his
They're
dog.
also. It's kind of like there's kind of an Olympics feel to them too.
Mhm. Oh yeah, for sure, right? The rings crossed over like that. Yeah. Oh, look, he's standing.
By
on
the
one
way,
of the testicles.
By the way, that photo of him with his dog,
Yeah.
like he's making kind of a serious face.
Yeah.
But the dog is also making a serious face. And usually golden retrievers, like, they always look like they're smiling, but that dog is like, yeah, we're serious about these painted penises.
Yeah, he's all business. That
Yeah,
dog.
exactly.
That dog is not just about awareness. He's about action.
That's right. Exactly.
So get her done, everyone. Final story for today. A fresh pizza vending machine prompts curiosity and horror in Rome, Italy.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, they're not happy about this. Raphael Esposito, the 19th century I can't say that without saying Napoleon.
Say Neapolitan.
Neapolitan, thank you. It wasn't coming out. I couldn't get it out. Credited with inventing Italy's most famous type of pizza, might be turning in his grave. Rome has a new vending machine that slides out freshly cooked pizzas in just 3 minutes. I would eat this.
I would totally eat this.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it starting in Italy and not in Vegas? This feels like a 100% Vegas thing.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Buyers are using the flaming red Mr. Go pizza machine. Mr. Go.
Mr. Go.
That's great. They can choose 4 different kinds of pizzas costing from €4.50 to €6. That's about $5.20 to $7.20 here. The machines knead and tops the dough with what customers, what they want, their toppings and stuff. And then they can watch the pizza cook behind a small glass window. Reviews by customers on Thursday of the machine, one of them in Rome, first in Rome, range from acceptable if you are in a hurry to outright horror. Quote, "It looks good, but it is much smaller than a restaurant and there is less topping," says Claudio Zampinga,
Me.
a pensioner, which tells you all you need to know. Yeah.
A pensioner. I love it. They're nice way of selling an old person.
Yeah, an old person.
Well, okay, it's smaller than in a restaurant. Fine.
Big deal.
And there's less topping.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of
That's
a weenie
easily
thing to
fixed.
complain about. Fabrizio Polozilisi, a Naples native and a university student in Rome, gave the machine pizza a try and gave it a thumbs down, saying it tastes more like a padina or ultra-thin, soft, unleavened bread wrap popular in northern Italy. Okay, that sounds good too.
Yeah, then all right, just call it Mr. Go Piadina.
Our standards so low that this is all such a problem. Like,
This doesn't taste like a pizza. It tastes like a flat bread with cheese and pepperoni on the top.
what kind of pizza tastes like pizza? This is bullshittery.
Yeah. Now where can I pick up some DiGiorno?
Yeah, who knows? Yelling into the wind, man.
This
Whoops, why'd that play?
What?
Meant to play that. There's your angry Italian kid.
What?
Still don't know what he was trying to say.
It's like the kid version of comic strip swears with all the symbols. What?
I don't know. Okay, so the only thing we can figure out is he has started to he understands and says words all the time. So he'll say,
Yeah.
I have a snack. He wants to have a snack. And you know what that
Sure.
means. But when it's like words he knows, like I want to go outside, he knows outside, but he needs to fill in all the blanks. So he'll say jibber jabber outside. And so I think what he was doing was just one of his jibber jabbers. You know
I
what
think so. It does sound like he's starting with the word kitty.
Let's try that again. Let's hear it.
What?
Yeah, there's a kitty in the beginning.
Yeah.
Kitty.
Kitty
Goo.
what?
That's so weird. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy will be here. We got an email to answer, and I feel this email I feel.
Ooh, really?
yeah.
I have not looked ahead, so I don't know.
I'm going to try not to inject myself too much in it because I hate when I do that. But it's got some parallels to my family life. But anyway, we'll get to that here briefly. Before that, though, a song from Brian Ibbett.
Yeah. All right. It's continuing with our rock and roll streak that we've been doing, this new rock streak that we've been doing this week. Let's do another one from LA. This is a band called Swerve. They've got a debut album coming out on August 13th called Ruin Your Day, and they've been releasing singles up into this. The brand new single is called Little Rich Kids. That one comes out tomorrow, so go seek that one out. It'll be on all the streamers. I don't have a copy of it, but it's on YouTube.
Sure.
So go check it out, Little Rich Kids. If you like the Replacements, Oasis, Teenage Fan Club, Queens of the Stone Age, you'll really like this. This is the first single that they released from this upcoming new album. It's called Escape. Here is Swerve.
You do all you can to help them grow right. Because you care, And we do too.
Yes, that's what that girl was saying.
Whoops.
The morning stream. There's a snake in my boots.
I got to edit that to say boot because the line from Woody is that there's a snake in my boot, not my boots.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be two snakes or
Yeah.
a snake that's been cut in half and placed ever so gently into both boots.
Right, exactly my point. So I'm going to fix that. I'm not even going to bother Fletcher with a re-record. I'm just going to cut that S off the end. How about that? Hey, Brian, that song again was...
That song again is by the band Swerve from their upcoming brand new album. The song is called Escape.
Lovely. Go check it out, you guys.
Yeah.
Brian will not steer you wrong with your music.
I will not. That song rocked.
Yep, it did. I heard it. It was rocking. It rocked. I haven't heard it. I will hear it, though. I always listen after the shows now. All right, we're going to get Wendy in here and have some fun. Check this out right here. If I can find it and play it. Where is it? I can't find it. Oh, great.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
I got to make that easier to see. Hey, welcome to the program. My sister Wendy, a professional therapist in the world of therapy, and she comes on Thursdays and does Therapy Thursdays with us, helping you with your problems. Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Hi. How the heck are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
You guys.
I talked to Mom on Sunday. She said that she had a very long call with you. And
had a long talk.
Yeah. She said she made it sound a little ominous at first. And I said, what's going on, Mom? She said, oh, nothing. We just got talking. Just went a long time on that call. She, by the way, looks great. And I'm not just saying this because I'm all hopeful for my mom post-brain surgery. But, man, she looks awesome for her age. Her friends look like relics and fossils compared to her. I don't know how she's doing it. So, anyway.
She has messed with what I think I shall look like when I'm her age very deeply, and I will never match up.
Yeah,
you're
going to look like Grandma Wilson. You're going to look like Grandma Wilson. You know it. It's going to happen.
I already look like Grandma Wilson.
Yep.
In fact, it's going to be great.
You have all of her things. I look like Dad. The older I get, the more I look like Dad and his side.
You do.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't like that. But, it could be worse. We could look like Mark, who, from a distance, I'm not sure who I'm looking at. So, I don't know what that means. It's a weird bit of shade to throw. I don't know what that means. Anyway, hey.
He looks great.
Yeah, he looks great, too, for his age. Anyway, we're all here. We're going to do this. It's going to be great. Wendy got an email this week that we are going to use as the impetus for today's discussion, and I will read it now. Here it is. This is from C, someone we will call C. Hello, Wendy and all. I've been struggling with family who appear not to take the pandemic seriously. From across this country, travel for the holidays to drop by without masks, now regular invitations to get-togethers like nothing is happening. It's fraying my ability to feel connected with them since I feel the need to reject any invitations for safety. Add on to this, the eldest family member being a conspiracy type spouting off anti-vaxxer material. I'm left feeling like there is going to be there isn't going to be another side of this until I am willing to put myself in danger just to see them. My question is, what steps might you recommend to unpacking the situation and figuring out where to move forward? I'm about to get my second dose of a vaccine, so I'm optimistic to get out more again, but facing this, I don't know what to think is normal. Thanks, C. So, we are at a weird new place, right? Like, lots of vaccines going out. Those willing to get them have access, it seems like, more than ever. And despite some parts of the world are in the worst, moments of this pandemic, and it's easy to forget that and not see it if we're not being shown it. But there's optimism to be had, I think. And so this idea of like, I'm going to go, I'm vaccinated now, and my closest family members are. So now we're all getting together, and that's cool. And now we're just trying to figure out where we can kind of reach out and into the community. But if you constantly feel like you are at the other end of a spectrum of thought than your family, how do you deal with that? And how do you make it right in the end? Like, is it ever gonna feel normal with them? Now that you've all been through this experience, and they're kind of, they're still kind of wackadoo, and you're still trying to do your thing, and like, what is normal for that? And I think that's what he's asking, and I totally relate to this. Oh my gosh!
And one of the things we're not we know that the eldest family member is anti-vax, so we know that that person isn't vaccinated. But we're wondering if and I know, you can still transmit, even if you've been vaccinated, you can still be a carrier for COVID and just not have it yourself, but pass it along to other people. But I'm curious about the people who are coming by, if they are also anti-vax or if they have been vaccinated.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
They don't say.
family members.
Yeah, they don't really
Yeah,
say.
because
anything about it.
everyone's sort of at their different place, and I mean, it's not the most comfortable conversation to have. There was a Saturday Night Live skit, I think it was just this last weekend, I don't know, where it's your first after COVID party, and people trying to talk to each other.
Yes.
And it was so relatable. I was like, oh my gosh, I've already had these, like, in not even real life yet, of just like, yeah, it's been a crazy year. Yeah. It's like neighbors talking with dogs.
Right. That's all they can say. So what have you been up to? Oh, just sitting home. Yeah.
It's just so funny. Anyway, so there's just like the awkward element of, hey, where are you really at? Like, let's have a really deep, meaningful conversation about something you have very strong feelings about, and so do I. How do I bust this out and have this go well? And if anyone has tried that, it probably hasn't gone well, because our social skills are all terrible at this point. But also, it really tends to be so personal how someone's reactivity to this, and it can go all the directions. It's not simply, an anti-vaxxer is the most vehement. That's a word.
Vehement.
Vehement. Thank you.
My goodness, you're a Johnson.
Yep.
Thank
We're Johnsons. All Johnsons here.
Also, speaking of the vaccine, I got it yesterday, and I'm having that same thing where my brain is going slower than my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
my
that's
mouth
right.
is. I can't even.
Your
explain
mouth
it.
is
It's
right.
so weird.
Is
wrong.
Right in
Cashing
therapy
checks.
that your body can cash.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly what's happening. Anyway, so I'm not going to say any words right.
Wait, was this number
Anyway,
2 then? Was it number 2?
Number 2, and this one is like, I have way more aches, and so now I have the brain fog, and then now I feel like I get hit by a car.
Yeah.
So I have that this
Yeah.
time, which brings me to sort of my point. At least I'm having this experience where I have a lot of empathy for folks who, and we can talk about, take anti-vaxxing out for a minute, okay? Because that is its own psychological construct that is interesting and needs a 3-hour show. But this hesitancy, not because you're just like, I want everyone to get COVID and die. You're just hesitant, right? You don't know how well you'll take it. This is a novel virus that we are fighting. There's a reason it's so scary. And then obviously the vaccine is a miracle, and the fact that it can be done so quickly, but that can make someone nervous too. And, I mean, I go and get the shot, and the first one, people were so grumpy. It was not lovely. I did not enjoy that experience. The second time, the person was so kind and warm, and I was like, oh, I'll get vaccines from you all day. It made a huge difference. And I just thought, there's this old lady getting one at the same time as me, and it's a weird time, and it's scary, right? So not everyone has politicized this completely. I know that sounds impossible, but it's true. That there may just be, I hate needles. The last time I got a tetanus, and I couldn't use my arm for
reaction to it. Yeah, exactly.
You have you have rights to be concerned about different things. I think it's that there's no sort of safe platform to have any kind of conversation that isn't your head's ripped off in either direction. So some researchers and companies and different people are doing different things, right? So Minnesota's done quite well with vaccinations. I think at least half the population has at least their first dose. And the governor here is mildly genius in telling everyone he'll open up the state fair completely if 70% of us get vaccinated. And so it's going to work because people love that thing. Anyway, but just that idea of like, here's a free beer, Krispy Kreme giving out donuts. Like, there's some positive reinforcement as opposed to what I think has been shame-based and how dare you. And so I get to the core of like, what is happening for each person. So let's take this guy. Is it a guy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
As a guy.
Actually, we don't know, but I guess we don't know. There's nothing gender specific.
Anything. Anyway, so just this idea that, what is your personal take? What is your personal feeling? What is your experience? And when you have conversations with other people, what has happened to you? I'm always surprised when someone says to me, I mean, I don't know how you feel about the vaccine. And I'm like, really? I'm not making this obvious? Oh, I think we should have them. But they're so careful, and they're being so careful because that's not the world they're living in. They're living in a world that they have to really sort of be careful, do a specific dance with this because of the people they're around. It sounds like that's this guy's world that, you know, here are these people who are ready to go to the extreme and discount whatever your feeling is to describe what they're going through and what they want you to know. And where is this person at? Is that person been doing it in the other direction, or they've been kind of neutral? Anyway, when you get a sense of yourself and then recognizing everybody else is coming from their own place of, could be fear, anger, whatever. Like, we don't know. And this is what makes this so hard, is, are you going to have the social and emotional bandwidth to really find out where someone is coming from? And he doesn't have to change anybody's minds, but just like really listening to them.
Sure.
So I guess my advice would be, recognize you're not going to win a single discussion. Like, you're not going to convince anybody of anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you do have the bandwidth, can you really listen to what their concerns are? And what you might find is sometimes people's concerns are, like, hilariously and ironically, what I do with my body is my choice.
Yeah.
Yes. From one political side saying that to the other is funny at this point.
Pretty funny, pretty ironic.
But but it's still a legitimate feeling, right? And so can you hear it? I don't know. And that's really the question. Can you hear where someone else is at? And this is not saying, hey, let them scream and yell at you and abuse you, but like an actual conversation where you can really hear each other and understand where the other person's coming from. This is hard. I'm pretty terrible at this, to be honest. So my advice is hypocrisy.
The fact that we're in this gray time too, right? We're you know, it's not deep in the pandemic and we're not out of it yet, but it's this gray time of like, all right, some people are vaccinated, some people aren't. Some people, and like you said, some people aren't going to get the vaccine for who knows what reason. You know, could be something legitimate, could be just that they refuse to do it because they don't want government chips in their arm. But you're gonna be walking down the street, you're gonna pass 18 people that don't have a mask on, and we're in that stage now where it's like, okay, things are okay, things might be all right. It just feels weird to be around people again. Tina and I have gone through this. We've watched our friends going through this with the whole being in a place where people may be closer than 6 feet, or being in a place where there aren't masks or things like that. And it's God,
it helps you understand why some people yell, "Jesus is my vaccine," and then run through a place without a mask. because
I'll never understand that.
Well, what I mean by that is they are just as put off by it. They are just as awkward about it. They are just as frustrated with it. They're just all those things. They just have it. They have their way of deciding. You know, they've got their ultimate plan of dealing with it, which is screw everybody. I don't live in fear, whatever. They want to bottle everybody else up in, and they run around like that. And part of me is like, not too long ago, a member of our family, Wendy, extended family, I won't get into names or anything, but somebody had said to me, and they had COVID and were at the end of their antibody time, their 6-month, thing, and should be getting vaccinated. And I said, well, you guys are going to do that? And they said, I don't know if we are. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I knew that they knew that the antibody data we have so far suggests that this stuff is, you're not going to remain immune to this thing. And so for your own, and they also had a really rough one. Like, it was bad, like ER visits and stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, you know more than anybody that you should do this. And then the answer was not some kind of, I don't believe in vaccinations, or I don't know. It wasn't that. It was that just about wrecked me. Like, I thought I was going to die. I don't know if I want to do that to myself again. Yeah. Thinking that, the actual second shot in this case would be enough to be as bad as that experience. And I can't say how that must have felt for them to be at the lowest point of their infection. So maybe it is that scary and that bad. And I don't know, but I just know this, like, regardless of what everybody decides to do, when we all get together in July for the sort of family get together thing, those that planted their flag in the I'm never getting vaccinated land, and those of us who did, at that point, I can't worry about it anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can, but what I mean is I'm not gonna get hung up on it. I'm gonna go, and we're gonna be together, and I'm gonna know in my head that those who are putting themselves at risk are doing it after all that you could do and say, and after all the time possible to get your freaking shots, and you've still chosen that. I don't know what else to do. There's nothing else to do, right, Wendy? I can't do anything.
You can't. But we can walk up and just start coughing without covering our hands or mouth.
You think that might turn them? They're like, you just start going, and then
or just lick your hand and
they'll
pat
finally
on the
get
cheek.
their shot. Yeah. Like I heard the other day, there's some anti-masking group that is going to start wearing masks to protest people who've had the vaccine.
Yeah, I love it. Please do that.
What the frick, dude? Like, what do you even do? I mean, I thought it was a joke at first, but I guess that's like real. Anyway. Whatever.
No, what it was, what I had read was that there is a belief that the vaccine, if you're vaccinated, you're shedding vaccine particles on other people. So in order to protect yourselves from the vaccine, you're going to wear a mask, which is like,
Wait a minute.
I love it.
But I have to assume that Venn diagram of people who wouldn't wear masks before because they weren't worried about a transmission of an actual pathogen are some of the same people who are going to wear them now to stop this fake shedding of vaccines.
I love it. Do you think it's like secretly like, I actually believe in this? I
don't know,
clean
dude.
My part, and I really just need a mask.
This is how I'm going to get one. That's where I'm at. I'm sort of at this place where I'm like, all right, I can't. There's nothing else I can say or do.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. All I can do is do what I think is right. You do what you think is right. And we just may not be as close as we used to. you know?
Okay, you're pointing out the thing, which is why this is so challenging in families, right? Like, and friendships. I mean, if we have everyone raise their hand, who have you grown further apart from because of the pandemic and a major disagreement about how things are happening? It's going to be everyone's going to raise their hand about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like some relationship has been affected. And that's because we are finding out something about people we would never have known otherwise. Right?
Right.
So we're living in Sweden, and the Swedes treat the stomach flu like it's a pox. If you are sick, you do not leave your house for 48 hours from the last time you vomit. That is how it operates there. Now think about how many Americans are going to work and vomiting at lunch. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you just keep going here. That is our mentality.
Yeah.
And there it is a social sin. Like they will ask you where you got it. Like they already had like CDC running in their blood. It's weird. And when we got there, I was like, why are you all so weird about this? Like you're babies. It's just someone has a cold. You don't stay home for a week. Like they're very, and this is why I think they messed around with different ideas with this pandemic that would not have happened in any other country. I'm not sure it has been as successful as they hoped, but they have a built-in weirdness about it that I felt judged all the time. And I would secretly be like, kids, do not tell anyone you had a cough, like, cause felt so judgy. And then, everyone's at a different place. And then when you find out, so they could be like, oh, you're American. I was a built-in like, oh, we still can like you, even though you don't quite understand the social mores, Whereas I think here everyone has looked at a friend or a neighbor and had a conversation that you went, wait, what?
Yeah.
You don't care that kid who's immunocompromised up the street, you don't think he should have a mask? Like, who are you? Mm-hmm. And so I think there has been an awakening to pieces of us that maybe aren't even deep, dark parts of us, just tend to be, hey, this is how I'm handling this freaky time in my life, and I'm angry, or I lost my job, or whatever. And now this is this new piece of information that doesn't make you feel safe to me. Like I don't really know you anymore.
Yeah, there is that. There's a disassociation feeling that I get, and it's mostly with some people that you think you've known somebody for like a really long time, and you just kind of really know them, and then
then you hear him say something like this, like, "Wow, all right, what else about you have I been
And it's not even just
misunderstanding.
this, like just, well, whatever. The last 5 years have been revealing in a lot of ways for a lot of people, but then what do you do with that information? You can't just go, oh, that's weird. Anyway, and then move on. Like, it feels like you have to, I don't know. I'm not a shunner. I don't shun anybody, but there is this feeling of like, I don't need
I'm
you
not a
in my
shunner,
life.
Jerry.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need you in my life right now. Like, if I do, you'll just frustrate me. So come back in a decade, maybe you'll be over it. I don't know. It's hard.
Which is the sorting of a tribe, is it not? Like, it's just another version of we agree so it feels safe, right? And like anything, it's kind of like when you get too extreme on either side, they eventually meet around back, right? They're like the same thing. Is that sort of need to belong, the need to be agreed with, the need to feel secure and safe and whatever. I mean, it's a really strong one. And so it's just one of those things that is new to everything here, is that, if you had asked anyone in 2015, okay, the pandemic's coming, what do you think is going to happen? They're probably not thinking, I mean, someone would have guessed there will be a mask protest or there will be some anti-vaxxers. That's not surprising.
No,
I think what's been surprising is the sheer number. Because if I've listened to a few podcasts about historians who have, really, really focused on previous pandemics, and nothing's changed in some ways, right? There's 2,000 anti-maskers protesting in California on this date for when the Spanish flu, which of course isn't even the Spanish flu, when that was happening, we blame the Spaniards when really it's an American source, but the Spanish were the first ones willing to talk about it. Like you read or listen to that and you're like, oh my gosh, humans haven't changed. But we did not have at our fingertips the ability to create echo chambers so quickly, and or the illusion that our tribe was really big and stronger or better or smarter, or that didn't exist. And so I think we just have an amplified version of what humans often do when things are scary and hard.
Yeah.
So let's get back to this guy, specifically what he should do. So Scott, your advice is that he just does nothing about it. What was your advice again?
No, I don't know what to do about it. Like, I would be a terrible advice giver to this person because on the one hand, I try to be empathetic and understand where people are coming from, and then but that never I don't know. I've just the poops I used to have to give all ran out in 2020. And so I'm a bad person to ask right now, I think.
But here's the thing. I mean, it's got so much more of a global and community context now. Having some dude in your life who thought that the earth was flat wasn't a big deal, right? Because it's only affecting them. It's not hurting anybody else. Any conspiracy theory typically is like, all right, well, that's good for you, buddy. Glad you believe that. And it doesn't affect me. But now when you've got people who have the ability by their willful disagreement with with science, who have the potential of spreading this virus or spreading variations of the virus or things like that, that goes beyond just affecting them. And so that's why it's a different thing than it was back in 2019, 2018.
Yeah. Like if you had a thing that's a great way of putting it. Like if you had somebody you disagreed with, you still had, it was usually just a thing that affected them, not necessarily affected everybody. But this and your stance does, affect everybody. Kim and I were talking the other day, we should go see a movie. But then we started thinking, all right, well, we're both vaccinated, but we still don't know what the deal is with little kids yet. We got this little boy in our lives. The last thing on this planet I would ever want to do is put him at risk for anything. And so we were like, yeah.
Plus, there's really nothing in theaters.
Right, there's nothing in theaters anyway.
I looked and there is.
Is it worth it? No.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see that new Jason Statham movie, but we can wait.
Exactly.
We can wait. But
Yeah.
that's my point.
Quiet
Like,
Place 2 is the next thing. It's like, all right, maybe by Quiet Place 2, we're going to see how things look.
sure. But that's my whole thing is that there's still these issues. And and when I break with people is when I hear them not thinking that way. When I hear them thinking about no one's going to take my thing away, when it's me, my, then I know they don't give a shit about anybody. And because they don't, I start to not give one about them. Like it's a vicious circle, and I get it just makes me mad. I don't know. So I don't have a good answer. Wendy is the point. I have no answer.
Yeah.
Bad answer.
So Brian, do you have an answer?
I hate to say it, and this kind of goes along with what you're saying, but you just kind of have to. You kind of have to just pick the battles that you want to fight. Decide. Plus, again, we don't know if the people who are popping over without masks are vaccinated or not. The danger is the grandparents and the kids. The anti-vaxxing, well, we don't know if it's a grandmother or grandfather, but the eldest family member who's the anti-vaxxer, you've got to worry about them. Like Scott says, you got to worry about the little kids. You just got to kind of pick the battles and do your best to be protective. So if they do pop over not wearing masks, don't worry, keep yours on, and keep 6 feet away and say, yeah, I'm not going to hug you right now just because we're trying to keep Granny safe. But you just kind of got to figure out, all right, where are the battles that I'd even have a chance of changing somebody's mind on, and they're going to be so few and far between. There's no point.
Well, I think I agree with this, and I think part of where I'm hung up, I need to just blurt this out and get it out of my system. Mm-hmm. Some of these people I'm talking about are people who, how do I put this? Who share a similar upbringing to me. Not that.
You co-host a morning show.
No, none of that. We are of like mind, you and I. But no, like people who I either grew up with or knew growing up, or know people who were raised in the same way that I was raised and was taught the same things I was taught. And by that I mean things like share and share alike, do for other people before you think about yourself, this kind of stuff. And so then I see them still sort of preaching that on Sundays or wherever they want to preach it. But the rest of the time, it's me, and my rights, and you suck, and I'm on it's tribal this and tribal that. But they do the talking on the Sunday, but they don't do it the rest of the week. And that may sound like time shared old tradition of humankind. And it is, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of hypocrisy has existed forever, and a lot of people don't even know they're doing it while they're doing it. But boy, has that come into sharp relief over the last year and a half for me. And people who I know better do it anyway. And they do it out of like weird reasons, like I don't know, mostly political. It's mostly just, which tribe are you adhering to, and then therefore you walk that line. But you still claim to have these other principles in your life that are in opposition to what you're doing. Your behavior does not match that template anymore. And that's where I struggle, because how do I get past that ever? How do you ever get past that in somebody? I don't mean that we're all imperfect. We all have our problems. We all have our weaknesses. Nobody's perfect, but just that doubling down on what is just bad for you and bad for the people around you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just that's why it's hard. That's why it's hard for me.
The other side of the coin, the people who everybody's got their different caution level, right? Like our crazy neighbors are on the spectrum of being careful around this whole time. Tina and I have been to restaurants. We've been careful in restaurants. We wear our masks until we actually have a drink or food in front of us. And then as soon as we're done eating, we put the masks back on, etc. But we have friends, crazy neighbors, who are like, yeah, we're still not going out to restaurants. And the thing to be very conscientious about right now is to realize that on the careful side of things, not on the I'm not wearing a mask, no vax side of things, but on the other side of things, everybody's got their own level of how quickly they're going to be able to re-assimilate themselves into society, and you've got to be patient and not shame somebody if they want to be more careful and they don't want to go to a restaurant right now or go on a plane or go see a movie. That is 100% okay, and when you're ready to do it, cool, I'll go there and do it with you. But I'm certainly not going to say, oh, come on, it's fine, take your mask off, we're good, we're all vaccinated, take it off. It's let people assimilate at their own speed, and because those are the people who are being careful, and they should have the right to take it as slow as they want to take it.
Yeah.
That is a very good point. I think you're hitting on something that is kind of going back to this individual psychology of each person, right? Like everyone's got their own disgust reflex, right? Everyone's got their own version of OCD with germs or not at all. Like there's this spectrum for each person, right? So assuming everyone should be in the same place is, that's erroneous. But there's also this, like, you guys both referenced this sort of compassion for others that aren't in the same place as you. And I think that anger robs us of that, right? Or feeling like you've been treated poorly, or this is finally your chance to stick up for yourself and say something. Like, I think if we took anybody in any of these extreme categories on either side, someone who is not willing to leave their house ever again is not okay, right? We have to, there's some struggle that has been created for them that is just as bad as someone who's just like, screw the children, rip masks off their faces, AKA Tucker Carlson, right? Like something is really wrong with that guy. Like, what is the...
I was coming home one day, and look what I found. A child on the road. And was he wearing him? I'm just doing my Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, that's a good Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Why is that?
Why is that? Why is it
never heard his voice.
Oh, well, you're lucky.
Like that nasal,
I choose never to.
Look on his face like he can't figure out a Rubik's Cube.
He sucks. Yeah. He sucks.
Yeah, I've read his words. They're bad enough. So I always choose certain, like, auditorily, no. You don't get my time.
He blows.
But that idea, though, is that like everyone's doing things for their own individual reasons. And so my advice to this guy would be kind of like I'm repeating myself here, but just recognize everyone's in a different place. And the part of you that sort of jumps in to protect you, you can be grateful for that part, but don't let that part drive the car, right? Which is like, they're terrible, like soothe yourself. And like Brian was saying, do the things you need to do to feel comfortable, and then recognize that that's all you have control over. I mean, this is hard. Everyone's got this in some form or another. And maybe Brian, you've been the person who's a little more free, and you're watching someone else be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we've had that.
Sorry.
We've been following, all of the state guidelines, the county guidelines. We are, 100% on board with that. And as of today, I believe restaurants in all of the major Denver metro area counties are all back up to 100% capacity. Still have to wear a mask when you go inside, but restaurants now don't have to have the 50%, 80% capacity. And that's going to be weird the first time I go into a restaurant where like I'm, an elbow's distance away from some guy eating his clam chowder, and I could, reach out and touch him. Not going to do it. But,
I guess what I'm saying is, like I'm not going. We're in similar situation here. Like things are opening up that way, and masks are still required, but blah blah blah. All that stuff's great. But what I have, this is where I just get stuck, and I know I'm repeating myself a little bit, but if some Bible thumper talks about loving their neighbor as themselves all the time, and then goes into a restaurant and yells at the staff because they don't want to wear a mask and calls them a bunch of sheep and puppets, F right off.
Yeah.
F right, double bird right to your face. Like, I've had it with those people. Those people and I are done. And unfortunately, I know some of them, and this is where I'm hung up, is I know them. I know they know better, yet they still do it, and I'm left with just these two fingers in their face.
I just don't want to be hypocritical and say it sucks for the people who are, who are refusing to wear a mask or refusing to get the vaccine, but it's okay for the people who are like, nope, I want to stay in my house. I want to not go out. I want to just, keep quarantining myself, because I don't want to be hypocritical and say, oh, it's okay for them, but it's not okay for that guy.
Yeah, but they're still jerks about it. They're like,
because there's the difference.
Yeah.
Are you a jerk about what you think or not? Like, there's the difference, right?
Or how will what you do affect other people? The person staying in their house won't spread the virus. They won't willfully, cause somebody else to get sick. Whereas the doofus in the line at Aubergine, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Eggplant Junior. Yeah.
Eggplant emoji.
Yeah.
Potentially could get somebody else sick if he's a carrier and he's not getting the vaccine.
But either way, just being such an a-hole about it. Like, if you say, oh, yeah, we're not comfortable going out, that's not tantamount to the same as saying, you're a bunch of sheep, you bunch of...
That's right, exactly.
Pupit. You're a pupit. You're a pupit of the leftists or whatever. Like, I can't deal with it. It's the same problem I have where I don't know why people give such a crap about other people's personal decisions. Why anyone would care.
These are libertarians, Scott. That's all they care about is other people's decisions.
Yeah, but they shouldn't. Their whole point. Their whole point of libertarianism is they're supposed to be everybody.
I know, that was my joke, dummy.
Oh.
Here's the thing. So the real question I have is why? Why do you have to yell at some teenager who's got a mask on and working to give you food or grocery? Like,
I don't know. That's my point. I don't know what that is. What is that?
I have some ideas, but that's ultimately the question. So someone is not against, you're not pro polio, right? You're anti-vaxxing. And if you listen to the history of it, you read the history of it and follow the science of it and why it's, there are mega rich enclaves of an island, I think it's in Oregon or Washington, where they've got measles outbreaks because rich fancy people are not going to be told what to do. You're like, okay. And there is something to be said for I'm above biology. And this is something, a kind of fascinating thought I've had recently of there's a left and a right side of anti-vaccination. And it was the left that really started with the anti-vaccination. The right has sort of jumped onto it. Don't you tell me what to do. But the left, it was just we need to have it more natural. And what is that? And it starts with the wealthy. And at least all the counties where we now have measles outbreaks, they're all wealthy places. And it has something to do with just sort of, I'm above biology. And I have wondered this about folks that, some of us are like, I am not above biology at all. I'm for sure the one that's going to get it,
Right, exactly.
And then others are just feel untouchable and do not. And many people have behaved badly, quote unquote, badly during this pandemic and have not gotten sick. So what is that just confirmed that they are above biology?
Reinforces there. Exactly. Yeah.
Totally. So we can't win. I guess that's the theme here. You can't win. Exactly. But there is something about everyone's kind of got their different place. So you've got this anti-vaxxer older brother or sibling or uncle or whoever that person is. There are reasons, usually reasons you don't know about, possibly. Some are maybe really obvious, that they have to preach this. They have to make everyone agree with them, or they have to be unkind if you don't, or they just have their thoughts and they're going to share them. Everyone's going to be different for different reasons. I guess it's just working with your own psychology, your own biology, your own what do you need to be a good version of yourself, and how to handle the hypocrisy or handle the other things in a way that you can feel good about. I think if we really sat some of these hypocrites down, Scott, and just said, let's take their ego away for just a moment and really get deep, you'd find that they're doing this for some reason that none of us would have guessed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, probably.
And why they keep doing it and what that's about, and why it's so threatening that a little kid has a mask on. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from for somebody, but if we had the wherewithal to find out, aka they're in therapy with you.
I think Carlson just makes massive amounts of money by doing this. I think that's his motivation. Okay, really wise words from Bobby in the chat. He just said this. You want to feel like the decisions you are making are the right decisions. When someone else is making a decision that is different from yours, it can feel like you're doing the wrong thing. So you have to cognitively deal with that somehow. The way a lot of people deal with that is convince themselves that those people are wrong and that they need to be brought in line in order to make you feel like make you feel like you're doing the right thing. I think that's it. That's what people, that's the motivation. Like on one side or the other, or all the complex sides of every issue, whatever, that's it. You need reinforcement for how you feel. And some people go to the extreme of yell at a teenager who's bringing you a drink at a restaurant and making fun of him because he's wearing a mask, or, not finding out somebody is trans and just not letting it go and ridiculing them for their decision in life, or whatever other thing that they
different
target
from the way you believe, or different from the way you feel.
Right. They need to, how else are they going to reinforce that? The same way we reinforce it. And that is by being around people that are like-minded and telling people who are not like-minded that they're wrong. I think that's it.
Bobby needs to be on the show because he's exactly
He's very
right,
good.
which
Well,
is
he was earlier today.
Bobby, you take my place, especially when I have vaccine brain. Because
he's our guest before you, so he's on the show.
Yeah,
and,
he comes. He does
have him talk more like this.
He gets more than enough airtime.
Yeah, he does a science segment on the show, and it's very good. But usually doesn't get into psychology.
His point is exactly right, which is we don't know how to handle being told we're wrong. And you start with someone as a child. What happens when you're told you're wrong as a child?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
you create a million different psychological defense mechanisms and patterns and behaviors. So now you're going to be a straight A student and be driven like a motor. Or now you're going to say, screw you. I can't handle that rejection and that pain. So I will do everything the opposite. Or, you name the millions of options people will take to not be told they're wrong. And I think maybe that's just what we're seeing. We're seeing everyone's trained responses to being told what to do, and that appealing to you're a good person if you do this or not, when that's not how they feel. I mean, how they handle cognitive dissonance is how they handle it, and that's true for every single one of us.
If you've ever had to convince or try to convince a flat earther that they're wrong, you can't do it. It doesn't actually work. You can't do it any more than you can deprogram a gay person or any of the other great, bright ideas anybody's ever had. You cannot sit down with somebody who is... The difference here is it's demonstrably wrong that the earth is flat. Okay? So you are in a position of correctness when you're telling somebody that they're wrong about that. But it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters in some sort of basic truth sense, but they're not going to, it doesn't mean they're going to change their mind, even though you have objective truth on your side. You can demonstrate it. You can show it. It is 100% factual. It's like my whole "does Japan exist" thing I used to teach kids. I cannot believe how that's come like full circle for me, that concept. I used to tell these kids and get them in a classroom. I've told the story before, I think, but I would say to them, hey, does Japan exist? Prove to me it exists. And these kids would go around and around and around telling me proof. My dad went there on business. Well, that's what he told you. He's probably fooling you. Okay, how about you? I've seen pictures. Those can be faked. They can all be faked. Well, I saw a movie about Japan. Well, it was probably China. And, I went down the road a little bit of Asian people all kind of look the same, like pushing them in all these weird corners so that by the end of it, they are husks of non-belief. They look at me like, well, if I don't know if anything's real anymore. And then
oh my God, so you're creating a bunch of little conspiracy theorists?
No, that's the idea. No, this is the idea. You say to them, of course Japan exists. Of course it's a real place, and of course all those pictures are real.
Because you tell me so, Mr. Johnson.
And your dad was telling you the truth, and your brother who visited there was telling you the truth, and that girl you met who came here as a student and she lived in Japan. Those are all true. But just so you know, there are people in your life that are going to talk like this, and you need to be prepared for them. Now, I used to do that all the time as a regular thing for different groups as they'd come in, different ages. And now when I go on Facebook, guess who I find anyway, seem to have the best handle on stuff? It's these kids. They're all in their 30s now, some of them, but they all talk like me. They all say things like...
You created minions.
Yeah, I kind of did. I kind of did, but I don't feel bad about it because I feel like it was the right thing to do to try to explain to people, you can have all the logic and the truth on your side in the world. It won't matter if those people are not willing to flip. They just won't do it. Why would they? And it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. And so I guess what I'm saying is I've learned in the last few years, it can get really stupid and people will still adhere to it. Like really stupid. 5G chips in your freaking vaccine. Bill Gates is tracking you everywhere you go. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. I was talking to one of our tadpoolers last night who works with a guy who says the most insane things. They say that dust has nanites in it created by the government so that they create dust storms, the nanites do. We just think they're dust storms, but really those nanites are getting, they're tracking and controlling people. And then I find out this person is like in charge of some really important stuff at the job he does, like smart in all these other ways, but believes wholeheartedly in all this weirdness, including a flat earth theory, including blah, 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 blah. Like, you're going to run into those people and they're going to say these things and you just can't, what are you going to do? And right now it just feels like it's at a fevered pitch. That's all. It just feels like it's way more than it usually is, or they're coming out of the woodwork, or a pandemic forces everybody to pick a hill to die on. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Rant complete. My rant is over.
That's true.
Yeah. I won't rant.
And then
anymore.
the Roaring 20s is supposed to follow, right? So I'm excited for the Roaring 20s.
Yeah, right? Let's get them back. Let's get those Roaring 20s and then a huge world war.
Another Great Depression.
Yeah, and then a big world war, and then that'll get everybody paid.
It's my favorite
again.
T-shirt. I have an Onion T-shirt that says "History sighs and repeats itself."
Yeah, it does.
It's true.
Sighs heavily sometimes. Well, anyway, I hope this helps C with his or her dealing with this, because this sounds like a pain that we can all relate to, and we hope that we've been some help to you today. I can tell you that there's a bunch of people getting help with each other and with Wendy over there at realsteps.org. And if you missed the most recent sign up, don't worry, more will be coming. I guess your next major group will be August, right?
August, yep. But you can put your email in and get on a list there, and then also read all about it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Go do that.
Good times. We're having a blast. There's such a good group. This is so fun. And we're going to expand a little bit. So there's some new exciting things coming later this year. So
yeah,
join up and never look for me on Instagram again, because I won't be there. Bye.
She won't be there. All right, we'll see you later. She's not. I don't think she likes Instagram anymore. Also, you guys got to witness the thing my sister loves doing occasionally, which is to call me a dummy, which is one of my favorite things on this planet. So don't read too much into it. That is just, it's, to me, it's a term of endearment when she does that sort of thing, and it cracks me up. So finally on TMS, I got called the dummy that I am.
Nice.
All right, Brian, we have gotten to the point of the show where we can do no harm, but we can play a mashup. So I'm going to do it now. This is a bonus mashup from TMS Jamie. It's called Butter Bum in Texas. All right.
Okay. This is a poorly remembered. This is a PRS, a poorly remembered shite. Mashup.
He claims this is his favorite kind of stuff to capture. So
mine too.
Let's find out why when I hit play. I heard about something coming that was about a lady who everyone thinks killed her kid. Is this what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah, that's not this at all.
Shit.
It's the dude from Father Ted, but not Father Ted.
Oh, the other guy.
The younger, the
guy that's trying to be, he's like the young vicar trying to learn the ropes.
The actor name is Alden something. Alden O'Flaherty.
Alden O'Flaherty.
It is the hot rooster action. No, what the hell's it called? It is called,
I don't remember.
Flamin' Bird?
The hot bird?
No, Flamin' something.
Flamin' Rooster.
Flamin' Bird Arvada. Let me see if that's it.
Hot rooster action?
The Blazin' Bird?
Flamin' hot cock action. Jeez, TVZ. Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, the Blazin' Bird.
All right, Blazin'
Bird.
There's no crying in video games.
Bird. So the bird is the word. It's the blazing. Even if it's not not Harry Dean Anderson. What's the guy's name?
Was it Harry
Dean Anderson? Who's the guy who played MacGyver?
It's a three-namer.
It is. Somebody in the chat room.
It's Stargate SG-1.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Richard Dean Anderson. Stargate
Thank you.
1.
Harry Dean Stanton, Richard Dean Anderson. Combine those.
That was like Pumbaa, okay? Just for the record.
That was Pumbaa. There's your Pumbaa moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. Richard Dean Anderson. He was a he was a cheater, right? Looks like the shape of our stars or the path of our cancers or whatever, stuff like that. There was a whole
the path of our cancers.
Didn't the girl have cancer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it was called the path. What was it now? The shape
dolls.
of our
path of our stars.
The shape of our
Paper Town.
The fault in our stars.
The fault in our stars.
Fault in our stars.
The paper.
The tiny
in our stars.
perfect map of our stars with cancer is what that movie is called.
Has anyone here seen that Butterbum movie? I can't think of the real name of it.
Butterbum.
The one where what's his name puts butter, uses butter and then does the bum. What's that called?
You're talking about Brando?
No, yeah, Brando.
When he does
Paris,
the actual butt sex or whatever it was.
Yeah, butter butt in Texas or what's it called? France.
Tango in Paris.
Last Tango in Paris.
Yeah, Last Tango in Paris. That is so funny.
God.
How did we get there?
Just when I think like we're years past peak Johnson, we get Butterbum in Texas.
Oh my gosh, dude. I never can remember the name of that, but I always remember the butterbutt thing.
Yeah, Butterbum. Last Butterbum in Texas.
That's the one. All right, Jamie, you killed it. Well done. Nice work as always. And don't worry, next week there'll be even more from our good pal Jamie. Oh,
yeah.
I dropped my red Fraggle eyeball thing.
Oh no, your peepers puppets.
Yep, it didn't break though. Okay, we're good. We're good. That's it for the show, everybody. We are done. We will have a PM edition of the show tomorrow for patrons. If you want to know more about how that works and how to be at a live one of those or get the archive, you can do that at patreon.com/TMS. It's the only way to get that episode. So if you want it, you got to go get it. Patreon.com/TMS. Let your support show today. Frogpants.com/TMS for everything else. And I think that's it. Brian, let's play a song. Do you have a song?
I've got a song. That's
Great.
not the one I was just singing, by the way. Adolf from San Antonio wrote in and said, "Dear Letter and Stamp, Thursday is my wife Jessica's birthday. I wanted to request a cover of either Iris or Brown Eyed Girl as a way of saying I love you. In January, I nearly died due to diabetic ketoacidosis."
Ooh.
My friend Alan actually has that. So I know I feel you, buddy. And a list of other issues that put me in the ICU. And yes, my own stupidity. Yes, Scott, no more shug for me.
Oh, man.
She nursed me back to health, and I am now able to function normally, all things considered. She is my rock and my angel. Thank you, sweetheart. Happy birthday. Love, Adolf. Love the show, though. I can see why you like it.
Oh, well, before that,
Happy birthday to you.
that's for your wife. And then I can totally see why you like it.
I can definitely see why you like it.
Oh, it's definitely. People say totally, but it's definitely.
I know.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why you like it.
Mhm.
Or they just say, I can see why you like it.
Yep.
God, if she had any idea the meme that she's created
She has
by
no
that
idea.
one
You-
offhand comment, that
you know-
one offhand
Exactly.
backhanded compliment slight
Right.
against TMS.
Right. Even the bees guys, at least he knows, right? He knows what
He
happened to
knows.
the bees.
I don't like bees. He knows.
Yeah. Can we hear back from the dude what's either married or related to her and tell us if she has any idea what's going on? I'd love to hear that. If you're still around too. Who knows? I don't even know. But
That's right. The
Anyway.
next TMS challenge coin will say, I can definitely see why you like it on one side.
Nice.
Oh, wait, we don't have that already, do we? It's not already on it? No, love the show, though.
No, love the show, though. Yeah.
That's right. That's what the current TMS challenge coin. Look at that, baby.
Yeah, you can only get those in
Yeah.
Vegas. That's where that happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm taking it to Vegas just in case somebody comes up to me and says, show me your challenge coin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Just don't
be able to
try to
show
put it in a slot machine. Everything will go bad if you do that. Well, yeah, it was on the mug, Claire. You're right. We did a mug that had. I can definitely see why you like it. Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway.
Okay, so Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. That's what I decided to pull a cover of. This is great because if you go back to the 80s and Tom Cruise, before he got all weird and angry and stuff, he was in that movie Risky Business. And that whole movie, Risky Business, centered on having sex on a train. It really didn't, but that was an important part of it. And the music that you hear when you have sex on a train apparently is Tangerine Dream. Well, Tangerine Dream in 2012 came back with an album, all covers, and the damn thing is so, so good. Here is Tangerine Dream from that 2012 album, Undercover, with their cover of the Goo Goo Dolls, Iris.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Shit!
Oh, gosh.
Jeez, that's so much worse than